and welcome to a brand new week, traders. I'm happy to have you here today as we take a look into the market as usual and see what is happening in the market for the week, how the week had closed last, and what we are expecting for this week. So the market outlook for June 27th to July 1, 2022 is what we are off to today. If you're joining me and you have not subscribed to this channel, you want to do so because you're going to be enjoying all sort of interesting trading tips, trading weekly outlook and all of that we share on this channel that you do not want to miss out on. Also, if you have some instrument that you think that you trade that you don't see me share here during the weekly outlook, you want to do well to let me know in the chat box, and I will be more than willing to handle them for you in the subsequent videos. Okay, so ask questions, let me know everything. Give thumbs up on the video if you like what I'm sharing here with you here today, and let me know what you think in the chat box. Please, let's go now into the economic calendar. Let's start from there and see what is expected this week in the markets. Let me share the screen with you. Okay, so I have filtered this for just the one with higher level of impact. So let's see what we are expecting this week in the market. Today, US dollar, we are expecting core durable goods order. The time here is GMT +1. So by 1:30 p.m. on Monday, I'm doing this video on Monday, 27th of June. Okay, so looking at how the week had closed and what we're expecting for this week, it's what we are here for today. So let's go talk more about it. Right. So USD, we're expecting core durable goods order. Euro, we're expecting ECB President Lagarde's speech. So she's going to be speaking on what's, different things in the economy. And a lot of people like to pay attention to her speech because they could pick up one or two things that would help them have a clear direction on where, or at least have some level of direction on where the market is going. Okay, so and our speech is going to last for 3 days between today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. We're expecting ECB President Lagarde's speech. All right, and USD CB consumer confidence is expected tomorrow. On Wednesday, we're expecting something for Aussie retail sales, MOM, GBP. We're expecting Governor Bailey's speech. For USD, we're expecting GDP. Quarterly GDP for quarter one. We're expecting Fed Chair Powell's speech for USD as well, and British pound, the Bailey speech, or Governor Bailey speech. Okay, that's twice for that Wednesday, and also President Lagarde's speech is also expected twice that day. On Thursday, we're expecting British pound GDP report. We're expecting German unemployment change for Euro, initial jobless claim for USD. For Canadian dollar, we're expecting GDP as well. So we have a lot this week that we're expecting. There are holidays in some part of the world. Even in Canada on Friday, holiday is expected, Canada Day. Okay, I think that's one of the major currencies that we trade. There are other ones like Hong Kong, Rwanda, Egypt, and all that. Okay. We also have news on GBP, USD, we have Euro, we have CNY, we have Yen for Friday. So we have plenty that we're expecting this week. Now, how will all of this have a pay effect on the market? What effect have they been having on the market? Let's start by looking at the dollar currency index. What's happening with the dollar currency index? How did last week close? Last week at close as bearish. It closed bearish, closed lower than where the week before had closed, and that is expected if I am going to be basing my analysis on technical. You see this, it forms, it got to around the major resistance, but it couldn't sustain the bulls above there. it's moved all the way back down, leaving a long wick above the resistance. When I see long wick like this above the resistance, I would expect to see some correction. However, that candle had also closed more like an indecision because there wasn't wick just above, there's also wick below. So it is possible that anything happens in the week that follows. But what did we see? We see bearishness in the last week. So I'm expecting that dollar is likely going to continue a little more bearish this week, even if at some point we would see movement to the upside, continuation of the bullishness. We're likely to see some level of continuation of the bearishness this week. Okay. And if that is going to happen, how do we trade the other currencies and other instruments in the market? Well, for today, I'm going to start with BTC. I know a lot of people have been looking at Bitcoin. So what am I expecting? Well, I see that in the last few weeks, last 2-3 weeks, we had seen bearishness. It broke below this, my support. I have a major support I have here. It broke below it, and last 2 weeks, we had a big bearish movement to the downside. But last week, what do we have? We have like an indecision bullish candle, very tiny one, which, ended more like an indecision. So the question is, how is this week likely going to continue? Well, if I am going to be basing my analysis on what I'm seeing on the market and some fundamentals as well, the fact that we are seeing the US equity market is trying to pick up. Last week at close bullish. That makes me expect that likely we will see some bullishness in dollar for this week at least, even if it is going to continue down. Okay. Sorry, not in dollar, in Bitcoin. All right. So I'm expecting to see some level of bullishness in that because I've observed that it's been following what's happening in the US equity market, since around the Corona period. And we have seen the last week had closed bullish with the US market. Let's quickly take a look at that. I was looking at S&P cash. I think, yes, S&P 500 cash. It's what I look at, and you would see the last week had closed with a bullish candle, an engulfing bullish candle. It can engulf the one before it. And now, this week is still not moving very much, but I think that this is likely going to be bullish for a while before we see some continuation down. So if this is remaining bullish this week, and if Bitcoin is going to continue following what we are seeing with the equity market, then it is likely that Bitcoin will pick up a little bit this week. So if the Bitcoin is going to pick up this week, then what do we do? Because in the heart of buying and selling that we do in the market, when we see that demand is increasing for an instrument, what we do, we look for a buy. When the demand is reducing, we look for a sell, because we know that the higher the demand, the higher the value. So if the demand is increasing, the value is expected to rise. And if the value is going to rise, what do I want to do? I want to look for a buy. If the value is going to reduce, what do I want to do? I want to look for a sell. All right. So that's basically what I am expecting this week in the market for the Bitcoin. Let's go on to the gold. Now for gold, I'm expecting some bearishness. I have been bearish on this for a while. It's still below my moving averages. I was bearish last week. I managed my position on Friday, and early when the market opened this morning, it took me out. Okay, but that was still a good trade for me because I had been bearish since earlier last week. So when the market opened, I had managed the position in such a way that it just gave me some small profit and it took me out in the market. Now, this week it's starting by being bullish. If it doesn't break above my 50 moving average, then I'm going to remain bearish on this. However, the market has been in a consolidation. What do I mean by a consolidation? Sideways moves while the market is ranging. So if this remains inside of the consolidation, well, it may not give us some good profit, depending on how you trade anyways. If you are a swing trader, maybe you would want to wait out and see it outside of the range. But if you're a day trader, you will still find some trade right inside of the range. So it depends on how you want to trade it for the week. US oil, well, I was bullish on that one. Okay. I did a buy on that. I Took out my trade this morning, but I think I would find another buy and enter again because I'm still bullish on this. Last week had closed, had come down a little bit, but it closed bullish. So I'll be looking for a buy opportunity again for that one. This week, I'm expecting to see some bullishness with US oil. That's what I'm expecting on this week in the market. So let me take a look at it from the lower time frame. Okay, so I have a line somewhere on that on the 4-hour where it is now. I'm just waiting to see some movement up to help me find a buy or maybe get to a level, correct a bit before it breaks up again. But for this, I'm expecting some level of bullishness for this in the week. Let's go look at Euro Canadian Euro US dollar. Euro US dollar, I'm also expecting some bullishness in this. Last week at closed bullish. The week before at close as an indecision. And for last week closing bullish, for me, it usually would signify that I would see some level of bullishness for one more week at least. And so if this would happen, then I would expect that this week would go up. Maybe get toward this resistance. Maybe I'll be looking at my profit taking somewhere around there if it would go all the way there. But if it doesn't, maybe it will consolidate a little more before it keeps going down. But if it's going to move, I would expect it to get to the 1.07-ish, 7-ish area. And that's still some big, over 100, like some 120, 150 pips away from where we are looking at, almost 200 pips. Okay. So good, interesting. That's what I'm expecting for Euro USD. For GBP USD, well, the same way, I'm also expecting it to be bullish for this week. Last week had closed a bit bullish, also looking like an indecision but bullish. The week before had closed bearish, but with a long wick below and closing around my support. Usually, if I see this kind of movement, I would expect a change in direction and movement up. So this week, my bias is bullish until I see it coming down back below that support. If it breaks back below the support somewhere in between the week, then I'm going to change my bias and be looking that it's likely going to continue down. Okay, so NZD USD, let's see what happens with that. NZD USD, well, it looks a lot like what I am seeing with Euro GBP USD, sorry, Euro USD, GBP USD, looks a lot like them. Last week had closed more like an indecision candle though, but as long as this keeps getting rejected like this, you see that it's trying to form double bottom now. This had touched and moved up. It has touched it again, trying to move up. So if it is going to move up, I will expect it to go up a little more before it continues down. So my bias is bullish on this one for this week until it comes and closes down below where I have my support at 1.623. All right, below 1.263, I'll be looking for a sell. I had taken out mistakenly AUD USD, so let me put that back in. AUD USD, same way, I'm expecting that it is likely going to continue up for this, at least for the time being, maybe for just the week or intra week. That's what I'm expecting, unless I also go see a close below the support. Okay, they look alike a lot. Let's see the USD yen. USD yen, wow. For this one, I am expecting that yen will likely make some monetary policy that would have effect on the economy and, like rescuing the economy, rescuing the currency, because the currency is been really bearish. The yen has been really bearish. So if there's going to be like a policy that would boost the yen, then we'll be expecting to see some sell opportunity on this in the coming week. So if I would see this going down and closing below the lows, below the low of day, below the low of last week, then I would be expecting to see sell opportunity. I think that's around 134.4. Below there, then I'll be finding sell. Okay. USD CHF, well, it has come all the way back down to around the support that has been a strong support for a couple of weeks. CHF, we saw some big move down last 2 weeks. It was an unexpected move, and there was a policy change or something with the Swiss franc, and that was why we see that big movement. But now it's around the support. I'm expecting that we would see some level of correction to the upside this week. So if that is going to happen, then I'll be expecting to find some short-term buy toward this point, and maybe later a continuation of the sales. All right, below the support and below my channel moving average on this weekly will be an indication for a movement down to the 0.941 thereabouts. Okay. Euro AUD, let's take a look. Euro AUD, it's been bearish for a while. Let's remove this. It's been bearish for a while. Then it consolidates. It's been inside of this consolidation. Last week had closed with a long wick above it on the resistance of that consolidation. This week had moved up a little more, but the week is just starting today, by the way. Is it going to continue up? That's what I'm paying attention to. But if it remains below there, then I'll be finding a sell. Okay, if I would see it come below this my horizontal line of 1.5221, a little bit below there, then I'll be finding a sell on that. So I'll paying attention to that. Let's go to Euro Canadian dollar. Euro Canadian dollar look bearish as well. Inside of a range, it has like a double bottom here. It has moved to resistance of that range. Is it going to continue down or is it going to continue up? I like to see it above the resistance, above this area for a buy. But if it continues down after this, as it pushes down a bit, if it goes up and then I see a continuation down, that would be a sell for me. Okay, but of course, this is not in the weekly that I would be finding the sell. I find it maybe on the 4-hour or lower side. But on the weekly, last week had closed bearish, but the week before closed with bullish engulfing candle. And that's why I'm expecting that this may get bullish a little bit. Okay, but with last week candle, if this week would continue with what we see last week, then we see some sell. Let's see Euro Yen. Euro Yen, well, I was expecting that yen may get strong as well. That would have been a sell for me. But the way it is moving now, euro is still looking all stronger than yen. So I wouldn't be selling for any reason here. I would not be looking for a sell yet until I see a clear change with maybe one engulfing bearish candle forming and coming down. Okay. Let's see Euro HMZD. Well, that's also, I have this one, I said, looks more like a flag, a bearish flag. It's going up sideways and it could get to the top of the flag and pushes down. This is bearish. The major trend is bearish. So all of this could just be correction to bearish move. Any movement down and closing lower than that channel that is serving more like a flag for me, then I'll be looking for a sell. Euro British pound looks bullish for me. It's broken below my 50 moving average on the weekly after a long time since January 2021 when it broke down below the 50 moving average. It has remained there, and 50 moving average has been serving more like dynamic resistance for it. Now that it has broken above it, it has retraced, it is looking more continuing. It's a continuation for me. I would rather prefer to be bullish on this than bearish until there's any indication for a change in direction. GBP AUD is inside of a range on the weekly. Last week had closed more like an indecision, and it got to like a resistance. The 20 moving average serving more like a dynamic resistance. And I would expect to see some small movement down, to see some level of movement down this week. If that is going to happen, it will be a sell for me, and it may still remain inside of the range until I see a close outside of the range. Okay, initially this big bearish candle was it for me, expecting that this is going to continue selling, but now it is back toward resistance. So a movement lower would make me looking for a sell. GBP Canadian dollar. JP Canadian dollar, well, looking more bullish for me because looking at this kind of candle, The week after, he has closed a bit bearish, and now it looks like he may likely continue up. My bias on this for just the week is bearish. The major direction, for just the week is bullish, but the major direction is bearish. British pound yen, I'm bearish on this one. It is still looking bullish. The major direction is still bullish, but I'm expecting to see some level of change in the monetary policy with yen. And if that happens, I'll be looking for a sell on that. GBP NZD. My bias is bearish on this one. It's you see the 50 moving average serving more like a dynamic resistance for it. It keeps getting there and getting exhausted and unable to break past that place. If it remains below that 50 moving average on the weekly, then sell is what I'll be looking out for. British pound CHF all look bearish as well, but I'm expecting to see some level of correction this week to the upside a little bit. It could last maybe just 1-2 days before it continues up, but I'm expecting to, before it continues down, but I'm expecting to see some level of correction to the upside first before it continues down. AUD and NZD, let's take a look at that finally. And this one, I am bearish with this one. Why? Look at the weeks what we have here. The 2 weeks ago at close bearish. After this tiny indecision candle, last week at close bearish. Last 2 weeks, then last week looks like an indecision candle. This week, I'm expecting to see some continuation in the bearishness. And this is how much I'll be taking in this class today. Thank you all for tuning in and watching this weekly market outlook. If you have any question, remember to use the chat box and let me know what you want me to be checking subsequently that I have not checked in some of my videos that you've watched. Okay. And what else? If you have not subscribed to this channel, please be sure to do that. If you would like to learn to do trading right, you need someone to hold you by the hand and help you learn to do trading from basic through intermediate advanced level. MS Africa Academy is where you want to be. You want to join us and learn to be a profitable money seller. Thank you for being a part of this. Have a beautiful day ahead of you. Cheers.